Baby, listen to me, like the night is holding its breath. Because what I'm about to say isn't a line, it's a landing. It's that moment the plane's wheels finally kiss the runway after too many storms, too many delays, too many nights where I was loving you from rooms that were never close enough. I'm coming home to you, not just across miles, across fear, across the versions of me that kept you waiting, across every half-truth I told myself just to survive the ache of not having you here. I'm done with that. I am done stretching our love across calendars and time zones like it's supposed to be brave, just because it hurts. I want easy breathing love now. I want your voice in the kitchen, not on a speaker. I want your hand to be something I reach for, not something I remember. Baby, I'm so ready for you. Ready in the way a heartbeat is ready for a chest. Ready in the way a key is ready for its door. I packed my bag with clothes, yes, but really, I packed it with decisions. The ticket isn't paper, it's a promise. And the gate I'm walking toward, it's that threshold in me I've kept locked, because it felt safer to miss you than to risk losing you. I'm done with that math. I choose the risk. I choose the light. I choose you. Do you remember the way distance tried to romance us? How it dressed itself up like growth and maturity, like we were supposed to be proud of how well we could suffer? We did learn, baby. We learned how to pray between ringtones. We learned how to read each other's silences. We learned that love can stretch without snapping if it knows why it's stretching. But we also learned something else. Distance is a teacher, not a home, and the lesson is over. I swear I can feel the timeline of us rewinding to the moment we promised. One day, you said it softly, like a secret. I said it like a vow I didn't know how to keep yet. But look at me now. Ticket paid, fears taxed, excuses canceled. I'm walking toward the version of me that doesn't flinch at good things. The version that doesn't sabotage tenderness just because it's unfamiliar. The version that believes love is allowed to be near. And I need you to hear this next part the way you hear rain at 3 a.m. soft, steady, undeniable. You never ask me to be perfect. You ask me to be present. And baby, I'm done being a Wi-Fi signal. I want to be a shoulder. I'm done being the bubble text that says, typing, then disappears. I want to be the voice in your doorway saying, I'm here. I'm done with countdowns on calendars. I want to count freckles on your face. I want the clink of mugs instead of the ping of messages. I want your hair on my hoodie, your laugh in my hallway, your yes in my mouth. This distance, this heavy, training weight distance, finally loosened its grip on me when I realized something simple. Love is not proven by how long it waits, but by what it builds when it finally arrives. I'm arriving, with tools, with timber, with quiet mornings and loud protection, and 100 small ways of saying, you're safe with me. You will not have to earn softness here. You will not have to lower your voice to be heard. You will not have to translate your feelings into bullet points for me to respect them. I am learning your language fluently. Your eyes, your pauses, your I'm fine. That means hold me closer. And yes, I remember the nights we both pretended we were okay with the ache, the brave face, the strong posture, the go chase your dreams speeches that secretly ended with us crying in separate rooms. I remember whispering to God, if this love is mine, keep it warm while I grow. Baby, I grew, not into a different person, into the same person, but honest. I peeled off the layers of pride that kept me from picking up the phone first, when I stopped letting shame negotiate the price of my tenderness. I forgave myself for not knowing how to love out loud the first time. I learned that the opposite of fear isn't fearlessness, it's clarity. And I am clear. Here is my clarity, in plain words. I don't want a future that requires me to keep you at arm's length to look ambitious. I don't want a bed that remembers your shape, but not your warmth. I don't want apologies to be our poetry anymore. I want presence to be our prose. If I sound sure, it's because I am. Not the loud kind of sure, the quiet kind that shows up at 7 a.m. with groceries and learns your coffee order by heart, the kind that holds your hand in the middle of an argument so we remember what team we're on. The kind that says we more than me without losing either of us in the process. Baby, I'm so ready for you, ready for the ordinary divinity of everyday life with you. The socks on the floor, the half-watched movie, the way you talk to plants like they're staff in a gentle kingdom. I want the call that interrupts my schedule because your laugh is happening right now and I refuse to miss it. I want to celebrate your small wins like they're national holidays. I want to guard your peace like it's the password to the life we prayed for. Tonight, if you feel your chest lift for no reason, that's me thinking of you. If your phone lights up and you don't know why, that's the universe practicing our reunion. If you step outside and the air feels warmer than it should, that's home getting ready for us. Though here is my vow at the doorway of the next chapter. No more half-love. No more long-distance courage with short-distance fear. No more someday replacing today. Whisper, ever you are. He'll promise in a life without storms. I am not promising a life where I do not let go of your hand when they arrive. I'm coming home to you, babe, pack. Nothing but your peace. I'll bring the rest. Say already in your heart if this found you at the right time, baby. The closer I get, the quieter everything becomes. It's strange how even airports feel sacred when your heart knows where it's going. Every sound around me fades. The announcements, the footsteps, the rustle of people chasing their own destinations. And all I can hear is your name, soft and steady, like a pulse pulling me home. It feels like the sky itself is holding its breath, like the universe is pausing just long enough for me to step back into the story I never should have left. And maybe that's what this whole journey has been about. Learning that coming home isn't a place, it's a person. And that person has always been you. Do you know what it feels like to walk through the world carrying everything you never said? Every apology, every I miss you, every memory that should have been lived together instead of apart. I've carried them like luggage that never lightens. And now, as I move closer to you, I can finally feel it. The weight shifting, the healing beginning. I told myself distance would make me stronger. That space would teach me something discipline never could. But baby, distance didn't make me stronger. It made me honest. It stripped away the noise until all that was left was the truth. You were never the problem. You were the peace I mistook for distraction. You were the calm I wasn't ready to live inside yet. And now I am. I swear to you, I am. I keep replaying the moment I'll see you again. The door opening, the air catching, Maybe you'll try to hide the tears. Maybe you'll cross your arms like you're still mad at me. And maybe you'll be right to be. But I'll stand there, steady, because for once, I won't be afraid of what it means to be fully seen. For that, I don't want to explain anymore. I just want to arrive. I want the silence between us to speak first, to say all the things words never could. Because when I step into that room, baby, I won't just be walking toward you. I'll be walking back into the version of myself that only exists when you're near. You make me remember softness. You make me remember me. You always told me love shouldn't feel like survival. And back then, I didn't understand. I thought love was supposed to hurt a little to prove it was real. I thought distance was a test we had to pass to earn something sacred. But I see it differently now. Real love doesn't need to be proven by pain. It reveals itself through peace. And that's what you are, my peace, my anchor, my quiet after the storm. I'm tired of calling this distance strength. I want to call it what it really was. Fear dressed as patience. And I'm done with fear, baby. I'm done with half love and delayed tomorrows. I'm ready for right now. I'm ready for you. So when I say I'm coming home, I don't just mean to your arms. I mean to your world, your laughter, your softness, your sacred chaos. I mean the smell of your hair on my pillow, the sound of your footsteps in the hallway, the way your presence makes everything ordinary feel holy. I want to rebuild us, not as we were, but as who we've become. Not on promises, but on presence. Not on one day, but on today. I want to be the man who meets your silence with understanding, not ego. The man who listens even when he's scared of the answer. The man who holds space instead of trying to fix everything that hurts. I want to be the safety you once thought you had to earn. When I knock on your door, don't open it expecting the same man who left. He's gone. What's coming home to you now is someone who has walked through his own darkness and learned that love isn't a destination. It's a decision, a daily one. And every day that I breathe, I'll keep deciding on you. This time, I won't run when things get hard. I won't let silence turn into distance. I'll show up, not just in words, but in presence, in patience, in proof, because I finally understand that distance doesn't destroy love. Fear does. And I refuse to let fear write our story anymore. And when I finally step inside, the first thing I'll do is hold you. Not out of desperation, but out of reverence. I'll hold you like something sacred that survived the fire and still chose to glow. I'll press my forehead to yours and whisper the truth that's been echoing in my chest through every night we spent apart. I'm home now. You don't have to wait anymore. And in that moment, everything that distance ever tried to steal from us will fall away. The doubt, the fear, the what-ifs, and all that will remain is the thing that never left us, not even for a second. Love. Real, raw, resurrected love. If this part reached you right when your heart needed to hear it, comment home. If your soul still believes that real love returns stronger, comment, I still believe. And if you've ever been the one waiting, remember, the right one always finds their way back. Baby, that first night back felt unreal, like the universe had quietly folded time in half just to let us breathe in the same space again. The air between us didn't feel like air at all. It felt alive, electric, familiar. When I stepped inside, everything slowed. Your eyes found mine, and the world, all of it, just paused. I don't even remember if I said your name or if it escaped me like a prayer. I only remember how my chest loosened the moment you exhaled. Every heartbeat I'd been hoarding on the road finally came rushing out of me in one long breath that whispered, "I'm here." I wanted to speak. God, I had so much to say, but your silence held me still. You didn't ask where I'd been. You didn't demand reasons or timelines. You just stood there, calm, grounded, like you'd known all along that the man who wandered would find his way back when he was done pretending distance was strength. I felt my throat tighten as I looked at you. It wasn't guilt. It was reverence. Reverence for the woman who carried love like a light through every dark season I dragged her into. Reverence for the grace that waited for me, not because it needed me, but because it chose to. When I finally reached for you, it wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, like two souls remembering how to breathe in sync. Your arms came around me, and something ancient inside me unclenched. The ache that distance had carved out in my bones began to dissolve. It wasn't fireworks. It was healing. It was the kind of peace that makes noise irrelevant. My hands trembled when they touched your skin, not out of fear, but out of awe. Because I finally understood what it meant to hold something sacred without trying to own it. You were warmth. You were home. And for the first time in a long time, so was I. That night, we didn't rush to fill the silence. We let it speak for us. The rain outside started to fall like the world was cleansing itself, and every drop felt like forgiveness. You leaned your head on my chest, and I swear, even my heartbeat softened, like it knew it was being listened to again. I wanted to apologize, but the way your fingers traced circles on my arm said, "You already have." I didn't realize tears were slipping down my face until you whispered, "You don't have to explain," and I believed you. For once, I truly believed you. We stayed like that for hours. No clocks, no words, just breath and touch. It felt like we were rewriting time, like every second we'd lost was quietly returning through the rhythm of your pulse against mine. I could feel the weight of every fight, every misunderstanding melting between us. The walls I'd built out of pride collapsed without a sound, and in their place, something new began to rise, something honest, something steady, something unbreakable. That night wasn't about passion. It was about presence. It was about remembering that love doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just rests beside you until the storm passes. I told you softly that I was done proving love through distance, done making peace with absence. I told you I didn't want our story to survive anymore. I wanted it to live. And you smiled in that quiet, knowing way that makes everything inside me fall to its knees. You said, "Then live here." And it was simple, but it was everything, because for years I'd been searching for direction, for purpose, for some divine sign. And there it was, resting against my chest, wrapped in your arms, whispering, "Here." That night taught me something sacred. Love doesn't heal through apologies. It heals through presence, through consistency, through the choice to stay even when the past still echoes. And as I drifted into sleep with your breath warming my shoulder, I realized the distance had never really been between us. It had always been inside me, and with every beat of your heart, that distance finally disappeared. If this part touched the quiet places in your soul, comment healing. If you've ever believed that true love returns not to repeat, but to redeem, comment redeemed. And if you're still waiting for your divine counterpart, hold on. The right one won't just come back. They'll come home. Baby, when morning came, it didn't feel like just another sunrise. It felt like mercy wearing golden skin. The light crept into the room slowly, spilling over your face, like it was scared to disturb something holy. I watched it paint your cheek, trace your lips, fall across your shoulder, and for the first time in forever, I didn't flinch at the thought of daylight. The night had healed what it needed to, and the sun came only to confirm it, that love had survived, that grace had stayed, that I had truly made it home. You were still asleep, the kind of sleep that only peace allows. Your hair was tangled in quiet rebellion, your breathing soft, even, steady, and I just stood there memorizing. There's something sacred about watching the person you once lost existing so effortlessly beside you again. Every inhale you took felt like forgiveness. Every exhale felt like a promise being fulfilled. I didn't dare touch you yet. I wanted to remember this version of us, the calm after the storm, the silence that didn't ache anymore. As the morning light filled the room, I realized how much I had missed this kind of simplicity. The smell of coffee drifting from the kitchen, the sound of rain fading outside, the way time seems to forget how to rush when love finally finds its rhythm again. I caught myself whispering, thank you. Not to anyone in particular, just to the universe for letting me witness this moment, for letting me return not just to you, but to myself. When you finally stirred, your eyes found me the way dawn finds the horizon. Slow, certain, full of warmth, you smiled, half asleep, half aware, and that one look told me everything words never could. You didn't need grand gestures. You didn't need promises carved into forever. You just needed presence. You needed to know that I wasn't going to vanish this time. And so I crossed the room and kissed your forehead, not out of passion, but out of reverence. That kiss wasn't a beginning, it was a vow. The quiet kind that only the soul can hear. We didn't talk much that morning. Words would have ruined it. You brewed coffee, I stood behind you, arms around your waist, breathing you in like prayer. It felt like we were building a new language, one made of touch and trust, and the unspoken understanding that nothing between us needed to be forced anymore. Every small movement felt like a confession. When you handed me my cup, our fingers brushed, and the world tilted. Not dramatically, but gently, like even gravity was adjusting to this new truth between us. I told you in that quiet morning light that I don't want to promise perfection. I just want to promise presence, that I'll show up when the house is messy, when the moods are off, when life feels too heavy to hold. I told you I'll listen this time, not just to reply, but to understand. And I promise that the next time fear tries to convince me that love is dangerous, I'll remember this moment. your soft laughter spilling through sunlight, my heart steady for the first time in years. You looked at me, eyes glistening, and said, "Then let's start there." Simple words, but they felt like scripture. Because love doesn't begin with fireworks. It begins with willingness. It begins with two people choosing to stay after the chaos, choosing to rebuild instead of retreat. And as you leaned into me, our foreheads touching, I realized the journey wasn't over. It had just changed direction. We weren't running anymore. We were rooting. The morning carried on, soft, golden, unhurried. We sat by the window, talking about nothing and everything. The distance that once defined us was now just a story we had survived. And for the first time, I wasn't afraid of the future. I wasn't thinking about what could go wrong. I was just here, fully, deeply, completely. And as the sun climbed higher, I whispered the only truth that mattered. I'm not leaving again. Because baby, this love isn't a chapter anymore. It's the whole book. And from now on, every page we turn will be written in the light. If this part found you in a moment where you needed peace, comment, light. If you've ever waited for the love that finally stayed, comment, finally home. And remember, real love doesn't end at reunion. It begins at renewal. Baby, last night felt like healing. This morning felt like mercy. But today, standing here with the weight of everything I've learned, everything I've lost, and everything I still ache to protect, this feels like covenant. Not the kind written on paper, not the kind sealed with rings or rituals, but the kind written bone deep. The kind that doesn't ask, what if? It says, even if storms come, even if doubts creep back in, even if distance tries to whisper its lies again, even if the world doesn't understand why we chose each other, baby, I will not run this time. Not from the chaos, not from the silence, not from the depth of what we carry. I am not afraid anymore. I have seen what running costs, and I refuse to pay that price again. Not when the currency is you. You know what I realized? Fear is clever. It doesn't come dressed as fear. It comes as logic, as excuses, as timing. It says, maybe later, maybe when you're stronger, maybe when the world approves. And for too long I listened. I thought fear was wisdom. I thought hesitation meant maturity. But now I see it clearly. Fear was the thief that stole years from us. Fear was the silence that left you carrying love like a secret. Fear was the distance that we dressed up as patience. And baby, I'm done letting fear write our story. This vow I'm making to you now, it isn't flowery. It isn't meant to impress. It's meant to ground us, to root us so deep that even when winds try to bend us, we bend together. I vow that I will no longer measure my love by what I say in moments of passion, but by what I do in moments of pressure. I vow to speak your name with reverence in every room, whether you are in it or not. I vow to build a life where your heart feels safe enough to rest, not just to fight. Baby, I know words are easy, and maybe once I lived off words because I didn't know how to show up any other way. But look at me now. I am showing up, not just at your door, but at my own soul's doorstep. And I am choosing to stay every morning, every fight, every celebration, every tear. I will be here with hands open and heart awake, because I don't want to be the man who loved you sometimes, I want to be the man who chose you, always. When I imagine the life we're building, it isn't grand. It isn't some fairy tale staged for the world. It's simple. And maybe that's what makes it holy. It's mornings where I know how you like your coffee without asking. It's arguments where I hold your hand just to remind us we're on the same team. It's days when you feel tired and I take over the chores because your rest is my responsibility too. It's laughter spilling through the hallway because love is supposed to be joy, not just survival. That's the vow, baby. Not to make love perfect, but to make love present. I think about all the times I let others talk about you like they understood our story. All the times I stayed silent when I should have defended. All the times I let your name be a question mark instead of declaring it like an answer. That silence was my betrayal, but this vow is my redemption. From this moment forward, I vow that your name will only ever leave my lips as blessing, as prayer, as honor, never again as hesitation, never again as shadow. Do you know what shook me most when my mother defended you? It wasn't just that she saw you. It was that she saw the man I became with you. And she refused to let anyone rewrite that truth. She said he was better when she was in his life. And baby, she was right. Because with you, I learned how to be soft without being weak. I learned how to be strong without being cruel. I learned that love doesn't demand performance. It demands presence. And that's the man I vowed to keep becoming. Not just for me, not just for her, but for you. Because you deserve a love that isn't afraid to be seen in the light. This vow is not about chasing perfection. It's about choosing alignment. It's about knowing that your flaws don't scare me, and my flaws don't excuse me. It's about promising to sit in the fire when it burns instead of running for the door. It's about looking at you on your hardest days and saying, even now, especially now, because real love doesn't disappear when it's inconvenient. It shows up when it's hardest, and I promise you, I will show up. I vow to create a home where silence isn't punishment, but peace. Where laughter isn't rare, but ritual. Where your tears aren't shameful, but sacred. Where my presence isn't earned, but constant. I vow that I will not just be your lover. I will be your protector, your student, your witness, your partner. I will learn your moods like language. I will hold your heart like scripture. I will walk beside you, not ahead, not behind, but with. Always with. Do you know what terrifies me now? Not losing you. That already happened once, and it nearly broke me. What terrifies me now is the thought of ever making you question your worth again. That's what this vow is really about. To ensure that every day, in every small and ordinary way, you remember who you are. Through the way I treat you, you are not optional. You are not replaceable. You are not a phase. You are my forever. So here is the truth, spoken without tremor. I am done running. I am done explaining. I am done shrinking love to fit inside the boxes of fear. From now on, our love will not be hidden. It will not be whispered. It will not be delayed. It will be loud when it needs to be, quiet when it wants to be, and constant no matter what. I vow that no matter how heavy life becomes, my first instinct will not be escape. It will be embrace. This vow isn't just for you. It's for us. It's for the family we'll build. For the children who will never have to doubt what love looks like. It's for the legacy that will carry our names long after we are gone. Because, baby, what we have is not just romance. It is testimony. It is proof that love can rise after silence, that light can return after distance, that healing can happen when two souls refuse to give up. And I want to leave this earth knowing I protected that testimony with everything I had. So let the world watch, let them whisper, let them question. I don't care, because for the first time in my life, I'm not afraid of being seen loving you out loud. If my mother, the woman who once doubted, can now defend your name like scripture, then so can I. If distance, the thing that tried to break us, can now be the reason we're stronger, then so can I. If fear, the shadow that haunted me, can now bow to clarity, then so can I. I vow this: I will not let the noise outside our love dictate the music within it. I will not let bitterness speak louder than devotion. I will not let silence replace truth. I will not let fear steal years from us again. Baby, this is my vow, and I will live it daily until my last breath, because you were never just someone I loved. You were the love that taught me what love even means. You were my lesson, my miracle, my reckoning, my redemption. And now, you are my vow. If this vow touched your soul, comment always. If you've ever prayed for love that chooses you daily, comment chosen. And if you're waiting for your divine counterpart, trust this: the right one won't just say the words, they'll live them. Baby, last night, when I laid beside you and felt your breath steady against my chest, I realized something I had never allowed myself to fully admit. Love isn't proven by the grand declarations we make in the fire of passion. It's proven by the small choices we repeat when the fire dies down. It's in how we show up when the mood isn't perfect, when the world isn't watching, when silence is louder than words. And this vow I'm making now isn't just a promise for the extraordinary moments. It's a commitment to the ordinary ones. Because that's where love lives. Not in the fireworks, but in the embers. Not in the spotlight, but in the everyday. So I vow this: I will no longer confuse your patience with permission. I will not mistake your silence for acceptance of my absence. I will not use your strength as an excuse for my weakness. You carried us through storms that should have been ours to weather together, and yet you stood, even when my hands let go. Baby, I see that now. I honor it now. And I vow that from this day forward, you will never carry our love alone again. I know what it's like to live in fear of love, to treat it like something fragile that might shatter if held too tightly. But you've shown me that real love isn't fragile. It's resilient. It bends, it stretches, it survives. What breaks love isn't holding it close. What breaks it is leaving it alone. And that's what I vow never to do again. I will not leave love unguarded. I will not walk away when it feels heavy. I will not treat your heart like an afterthought when it is, in truth, my home. Do you remember the nights we stayed on the phone until sleep dragged us both under? Just so we could pretend the distance wasn't real? Those nights taught me something. Even when love is stretched across time zones and silence, it can still feel like sanctuary. But baby, we're not meant to live in almost anymore. We're not meant to survive on borrowed hours and delayed mornings. I vow to give you presence, not just as a word, but as a practice. I will be here when the alarm goes off, when the groceries need carrying, when life feels too mundane to be poetic. because love deserves to live in the poetry of the ordinary. I vow that when your voice trembles, I will not interrupt it with solutions. I will hold it with patience. When your dreams scare you, I will not talk you out of them. I will stand behind you even when the world doesn't. When your faith wavers, I will not shame you for doubt. I will pray louder until your strength returns. And when the world is cruel, I will not add to your burden. I will be the safe place you collapse into. This vow isn't about being the perfect man. It's about being the present one. The one who doesn't run when the shadows get long, but lights a fire instead. I think about legacy often now. Not the kind that the world applauds, but the kind whispered in kitchens, in quiet rooms, in the hearts of the people we love. One day, when our hair is gray and our steps are slower, I don't want people to remember me as someone who built wealth or chased glory. I want them to remember me as the man who loved you loudly, consistently, faithfully. I want our children, if we're blessed with them, to know what real love looks like because they saw it every day in how I treated you. I want them to grow up never doubting that commitment isn't chains, it's freedom, that loyalty isn't limitation, it's devotion. This vow isn't just between us, it's between me and the generations that will come after us. It's between me and the God who entrusted me with the kind of love most people never find, and I refuse to treat that lightly. Because when I look at you, I don't just see the woman I love. I see the divine grace that reshaped me. I see the answered prayer I didn't think I deserved. And I see the future that I will spend every breath protecting. So here it is, plainly. I vow to honor you not just when it's easy, but when it's costly. I vow to choose you not just in the sunlight, but in the storm. I vow to stand beside you not just when the world approves, but when it doesn't understand. I vow to fight for us not just in whispers, but in declarations. I vow that your name will never again feel like a secret I am ashamed to say out loud. Your name is my vow. Your presence is my promise. Your love is my forever. And baby, if ever again fear tries to tempt me to retreat, if ever the shadows grow loud in my mind, I vow to remember this. The man I am with you is the truest version of myself I have ever known. He is soft but strong. He is broken but whole. He is flawed but faithful, and I never want to lose him again. I will protect him by protecting you. I will honor him by honoring you. Because the truth is simple. The man I love being most is the one who belongs to you. Baby, no more running, no more hiding, no more silence where truth should be. This is my vow, and I will live it, not for applause, not for approval, but for the only thing that ever mattered. Us, baby. As I stand here with this vow heavy in my hands, what I see most clearly isn't a wedding aisle or a dramatic movie scene. It's a kitchen table, 2 mugs, our knees touching under the wood while sunlight drifts through the curtains. It's the quiet shape of a life we build, day after day, with small acts of devotion. That's what I want to promise you now. Not just the arrival, but the staying. Not just the confession, but the consistency. I don't want our love to be a moment we look back on. I want it to be a rhythm we live inside of. When our lips meet, when our mouths, I picture mornings where you're still wrapped in a blanket, hair wild, eyes half open, and I'm already in the kitchen making tea the way you like it. I picture the days you're overwhelmed, and instead of asking you to explain, I step in and take care of the little things without being told. I picture the nights when silence sits between us like a guest, and instead of fearing it, we hold it, because we've learned that silence doesn't mean distance. It means safety. This is what I vow to you, to learn the daily art of loving you, not just the poetry of missing you. I also vow to honor you in the places you cannot defend yourself, in conversations where people don't understand you, in rooms you may never enter, in my family's stories, in my friends' assumptions, in the quiet of my own mind. You will never again be a hidden name or a someone. You will be spoken of as the woman who healed me, the one who taught me patience, the one whose love turned my fear into faith. I want the people around me to see me loving you, not because I'm performing, but because our love deserves to stand in the open air. And beyond the people, baby, there's something even bigger I feel stirring. Loving you has always felt like prayer, even when I was far away, even when I was silent, even when I was foolish. Some part of me knew this wasn't just romance, it was devotion. The way you've carried me, the way you've waited without bitterness, the way you've refused to harden even when the world gave you reasons. It's holy, and I want my life with you to reflect that holiness, not through perfection, but through daily reverence. Through the way I look at you across a crowded room, through the way I listen when you speak, through the way I soften, even in disagreement. I vow to keep learning your language, not just your words, but your pauses, your sighs, your small gestures. I vow to keep showing up as a student of your soul. I vow to make space for your dreams, even the ones that scare me because they might take you beyond my reach. I vow to be a safe harbor, not a cage, to stand behind you when you need a push, beside you when you need a partner, and in front of you when you need a shield. And I vow to keep growing so that the man you find beside you in 5 years is not just the one who came back, but the one who became even more capable of holding what you offer. I know the world can be unkind to love like ours. It whispers that devotion is weakness, that consistency is boring, that passion fades. But I have learned something the hard way. Passion doesn't fade when it's fed with presence. Devotion isn't weakness, it's strength. Consistency isn't boring, it's the soil where love grows its deepest roots. And that's what I'm building now. Roots. Roots that will hold us steady when life tries to sway us. Roots that will make our home feel like sanctuary, not stage. Roots that will carry us into a future where our story isn't just survival, but legacy. And baby, legacy matters to me now. Not the kind built on titles or money, but the quiet legacy of love witnessed. One day, when we're old, I want the people around us to say, they stayed, they kept choosing. They built a life that was soft and strong at the same time. I want our children, our friends, anyone who steps into our home to feel it in the walls, the safety, the warmth, the reverence. That's the life I'm vowing to you. Not an image, not a performance, a living, breathing home of love. I also vow to be honest when I'm scared, to speak instead of retreat, to let you see my weaknesses instead of hiding them behind anger or silence, to admit when I'm wrong, to apologize without pride, to forgive without keeping score, to keep our space clear of the ghosts of old wounds, to make our disagreements about understanding, not about winning, to let the bond we're building be stronger than the storms that try to shake it, because this is not a vow of perfection, it is a vow of courage, the courage to stay open when closing off would be easier. When I close my eyes and see our future, I don't see a finish line. I see a practice, a ritual, a life made of countless small choices to love. And in every choice, I see myself reaching for your hand. Even on the days when you're tired, even on the days when I'm quiet, even on the days when the world feels heavy, because loving you isn't something I have to remind myself to do. It's who I am when I'm most myself. It's the truest thing I've ever known. So, here and now, with nothing left to hide, I vow to you, no more running, no more hiding, no more shrinking our love to fit into silence. From this day forward, our love will not be a secret. It will not be delayed. It will not be delayed. It will not be a question mark. It will be a steady answer. It will be a daily choice. It will be a home we both enter without fear. And I will live this vow, not as a moment, but as a lifetime. If this part reached the deepest part of you, comment rooted. If you've ever longed for a love that is practice, not performance, comment daily. And if you're waiting for a counterpart who will honor you in public and in private, trust when they arrive, they will not hide you. They will hold you. Beloved, a vow is only as real as the life it builds. Words are breath, but action is blood. I've given you the breath. Now let me give you the blood. Let me show you, not just tell you, what no more running means. It means morning after morning of reaching for you, not my phone. It means building a life where your dreams don't have to squeeze themselves into the corners of mine. It means walking through the grocery store with my hand on the small of your back and my voice saying your name like a prayer. It means catching myself in the middle of a bad habit and choosing right then to do better. Not next week, not next year. Now, I imagine it every day. You at the window, watering your plants. Me behind you, learning how to love in the quiet. Not just the dramatic moments. The world trying to rush us, and us moving slowly on purpose. People looking at us and seeing not a performance but a practice. They'll never know the nights we cried or the prayers we whispered, but they'll feel the peace in the way we sit together. That's what I'm building now, a living vow, a breathing sanctuary. Beloved, I don't just want to hold your hand at the wedding. I want to hold your hand when the bills are due, when the news is bad, when the world feels heavy. I don't just want to kiss you under fireworks. I want to kiss you in the kitchen at 7 a.m. while coffee drips. I don't just want to talk about forever. I want to build it like a house, brick by brick, day by day, soft and strong at the same time. That's the vow inside the vow, to show up in the smallest ways until the smallest ways add up to a life. And here's the most important part. I vow to keep growing even when we're happy. I vow not to let familiarity breed laziness. I vow to keep learning you, even after I've memorized you. I vow to surprise you with tenderness when you expect routine, with honesty when you expect excuses, with faithfulness when the world tells me I don't have to be. This is how I will hold you, not with clenched fists, but with open hands, not as a possession, but as a partner. When people ask me why I look different, why I move differently, I will tell them the truth. I stopped running. I stopped hiding. I started living my vow, and you, beloved, are the reason. You are the proof that love isn't a risk. It's a refuge. You are the evidence that tenderness doesn't make a man weak. It makes him real. You are the answer to the question my soul had been asking for years. Is there someone I can be soft with and still be strong? So here's my final promise, spoken with a steady voice. Our love will not be a secret garden hidden behind high walls. It will be a field open to the sky. It will be a song sung out loud. It will be a home where honesty lives. It will be a daily ritual of choosing, of forgiving, of returning. It will be a legacy we leave behind, whispered in the stories of everyone who ever felt safer after stepping into our presence. Beloved, I am ready. Ready to build, ready to stay, ready to honor, ready to make every day proof of what I've just said. This is not a speech. This is the blueprint of my life. And I offer it to you now open-handed, open-hearted, with nothing left to hide. If this part spoke to your heart, comment, built. If you're ready for a love that's lived daily, not just declared once, comment, living vow. And if you're longing for a counterpart who won't just promise, but will practice, trust, they're on their way. Beloved, this is the last page of the letter and the first breath of a new chapter. I've walked you through the storms, the silences, the confessions, the vows, and here we are now, standing in the light, nothing left to hide. This isn't the ending of our story. This is the moment where endings and beginnings blur into each other like dusk becoming dawn. I need you to know this before anything else. My heart isn't speaking for applause. It's speaking for truth. Every word you've just heard, every promise, every piece of regret turned into reverence. It's all the language of a man who has stopped running. You are not my what if. You are my even if. You are not my chapter. You are my book. I see a future now that isn't just built on memories, but on mornings we haven't lived yet. Children who will grow up learning what devotion looks like because they watched us choose each other. Friends who will sit at our table and feel the peace built into our walls. Laughter spilling down hallways. Your voice in every room. My presence steady at your side. I see anniversaries that aren't marked by survival, but by celebration. I see us growing older, softer, stronger, and through it all, still choosing, still learning, still loving. Beloved, this is the vow beneath all vows, that I will keep building, I will keep arriving, I will keep showing up even when no one's watching. I will keep honoring you when the world is loud and when it is silent. I will keep holding your heart as something sacred, not once, but daily. This is what forever means to me now. Not a word, but a practice. Not a cage, but a freedom we built together. And if these words have reached you, if they have touched the part of you that's been waiting to be seen, then you already know. This isn't just a script. This is a mirror. A place where your own heart can find its reflection. Because the truth is, everything I've written here isn't just mine. It belongs to anyone who has ever loved deeply, lost bravely, and dared to hope again. So thank you. Thank you for listening, for feeling, for walking through every part of this journey with me. Thank you for holding space for words that so many men have inside them, but never speak aloud. Thank you for letting this be more than content. Thank you for letting it be connection. And if you're still here, still reading, still breathing with me through this, then there's something I want you to have. My first ever e-book, Love Link Letters, holds everything the divine masculine could never say aloud. It's a journey through his heart, his fears, his love, and his soul's promises. You'll find the link in the description below. Take this step if you're ready to understand the connection on a deeper level. Because, beloved, you deserve words that keep you company on the days when hope feels far. You deserve a guide through the masculine heart, not as theory, but as testimony. That's what this book is. That's what this letter has been. A bridge between silence and speech. A reminder that you are not forgotten, not unseen, not unloved. Thank you for letting me speak. Thank you for letting me become the man who no longer runs. And now we begin.